Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hang with the Hooligans. And unfortunately, today, we're missing the homies. So, without further ado, I'll just pass this off to Doug.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Douglas Story Hour. This tale I'm about to tell you was of this grand tale I had today at D&D. It was marvelous, it was splendid, and it will probably only be really entertaining to me because it was so much fun. Anyways, so, we're at D&D. We're at the table. And our characters go into this lower dungeon area. Our kobold's going over to this door to check it out because we're like, we haven't ran into any guards or anything. So she goes over, cracks open the door, and she gets, quietly, not to set the alarm, and she gets spotted. She's like, shoot! She tries to close the door and kind of lock it. As she's trying to do that, the door gets knocked open, and she gets knocked onto the ground, and battle commences.
Fuck you.
Were you
Fuck
about to
you
say
for
something?
playing without me.
What?
Fuck you. I'm trying to see if it'll come up. I'm saying fuck you for playing without me.
I'm gonna stop her.
No, you're good. Yeah, sorry for derailing your story. Go on.
No, it's good. So she gets knocked onto the ground, and the guard comes out and just wails on her, And so my monk sees it from across from me. He's like, "Oh hell nah!" Fucking beelines it all the way over, and I got allies in the way to get over there and stuff. So what I do is I basically run over, and I'm using this little wall, I'm basically like ninja walking on this wall up to him because he's a monk. Fuck yeah, I can do that. It goes square. He's a gnome monk too, so he's about 2'9", and he just goes up and just starts right into the kneecaps of this guy. So since he's a monk, he gets 3 attacks. I do one into each kneecap, and then I do a high kick into his groin. Almost kills him. So the next round comes around, everybody kind of starts to get up in there and cause some damage and havoc. My final round, I basically go about and take out the last of this one guy by once again, getting him square into the groin and then right into his chest bone. Anyways, we won. It was amazing.
Very compelling, D&D story. Now tell us the part that I thought you were going to open up with. The story I thought you were going to open up with.
Oh, you mean the Easter Brawl of 2024?
Yes, the other fight that you
Oh, jeez. So, this is just going off of a Facebook post of a group that I'm part of, and apparently there was this person that held an event, and it was for all ages, kids from toddler all the way up, and apparently this isn't the first time this event's been held like this. So bear in mind, this is in fact an annual event. So apparently this egg hunt, and I put egg hunt in heavy quotes because apparently the way they do this is they just take a bunch of eggs. They have all the kids kind of go around in a circle. No age restrictions either. So, you have toddlers going against freaking teenagers, and they put all the eggs in the middle, and like a freaking piñata, they just go at it. No adults allowed to help, handicapped kids or nothing like that,
So the event organizers are like, no, don't help.
Like legit, that's the only thing I can think of. And from my understanding, I think some of these, I don't know if this is free to parents and kids and stuff, Jesus. But oh, jeez Louise. These kids leave with either nothing, bruises, crying, or bleeding. And so anyways, like I said, I'm on this Facebook group where somebody's talking about this event, and apparently this isn't the first time this has happened. And the worst thing is when I heard the name of the association or the corporation or the nonprofit that's running it, I'm just sitting here going I've got to Google this and find out who's running it. No website that I could find under that name. No political parties I could associate it with. So I'm just sitting here going who the hell is putting this on? Because apparently they got sponsors for it. But yeah,
maybe it's not entirely legal.
Say that again.
Maybe it's not entirely legal.
That could also be it too. Like, I'm just sitting here going like,
Or
what
very
the hell?
official.
But now,
Right.
I want to go see this. Like,
Oh my
I
God.
hope it does not happen next year. But I swear, I'm gonna put my ear to the ground. And if it comes up next year, I'm going. And I'm going to take some video of this. And it's gonna be
Kid Fight 2025.
Oh, jeez. Woo.
So the way you described this almost sounds like a mosh pit, but
That's
Easter
how
eggs.
the person described it to me. The person that I heard it from. So basically, I heard this like secondhand, and I was like, nah. Me and them are part of the same group, so I had to go into the group to find this article. And
Right.
yeah, I was just like, nah. And here's the thing: I'd be a little bit skeptical if it was like, if it was just one person and like didn't, nothing else followed after that, and nobody replied to it, whatever. But from what I read in the comments and everything, it looked like the person who was putting it on, or maybe somebody they knew, was replying to it, going like, "We are so sorry. We're gonna work on it for next year. We're gonna brainstorm for next year."
Oh boy.
Woo! So again, if I'm gonna keep my ear to the ground, if I hear this shit's happening, man, I'm filling up my car. I'm going to wherever the fuck it is, because I gotta see this for myself. Not because I want to see kids fight, but because I want to see like how badly like I've been to events that are bad, but I've never
who
been
runs
to an
this
event
shit?
where people like. I don't know. I don't have a name. And honestly, I'm kind of sitting here whether or not to put out a name, because I'm like,
Oh
Well,
no, no.
I don't wanna get-
literally asking.
Like more so, get some foot on the ground information on who's running it and how it's being run.
Well, yeah,
or whatever.
like I would be more than willing to talk about it if I had like a website that I was able to refer to and be like, yes, this person runs this association. Here's their Facebook account, and here's that person replying to this article. But like, right now, basically what I'm running off of is like a supposed firsthand report, seconded by for me, a trusted source. Like, I don't see any reason why this person would be, willing to lie or anything like that to me about this. Like, it's...
Well, it sounds like evidence is also corroborated by people talking about it in that group.
Yeah, in that thing.
I actually have a title for your little documentary you're gonna make on this, and it's gonna be called "Becoming Humpty Dumpty."
That's actually really good.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Oh.
I am become egg,
Well, and
destroyer of children.
Me too. When I hear Easter egg hunt, it means you hide the eggs.
Yeah.
Like I said, this was like you guys even described it. It was a mosh pit. Apparently, it was, and it was a pinata where there was no pinata. There was no kid with a bat to keep the other kids away until it was safe to get the candy. It was.
Yeah, you would think common sense would dictate teenagers and children should be two separate groups.
Exactly. Like I sit here and I just wonder how. I'm trying to avoid stupid. I'm trying to avoid calling people stupid, but stupid is all this can be.
Yeah, very no foresight, no
Like, okay, you know what's the only excuse I could have is like the person that put it together was homeschooled his whole life, never fucking went to like a college ever, and was just like one day coming up and going like, what I want to do is an Easter egg hunt
never
for all the kids, no matter who they are. And then he didn't even know what the fucking Easter egg hunt entails, which is entailing hiding the fucking eggs for one.
I just imagine this one drunk dad just like, sweep the leg, Johnny! Sweep the leg!
Like, you know what? I kind of wonder some of those parents there are like, this is a fucking sporting event where my kid's going to take home all the eggs this time around.
Maybe this is some weird Minnesota shit we didn't know about. It's like, no, the strongest egg survives.
This is the opposite end of Minnesota hospitality.
Yeah, well, you would think that. Well, everyone knows, especially if you have experience with like the Boys and Girls Club kind of deal.
Oh my god.
This reminds me of a story to really relate as to why you don't mix certain age groups together. So when I was in 7th grade, I had this friend named Tanner. He was a bit of a shit. He ran his mouth a lot, and he wasn't a very tough kid. And we went to the Boys and Girls Club. They did like these dances or whatever, and there were like some older kids there, like older teenagers, and we were like preteens, I think, at the time. And there's this kid who I know is like my sister's friend. All I know is his name was Jesus, and he was like a pretty in shape Mexican dude, and he was like quite a bit bigger than Tanner, and Tanner was running his mouth. And obviously, this isn't even any situation where you got to put up an older teenager and a younger kid, because we're at the end of kid and the beginning of teenager at that point, basically. Of course, there's no one there to really, it was like a dance or something, so like the people there who are supposed to be supervising are not going to be paying attention at all the places in this building and stuff. The dude didn't like beat the living shit out of Tanner, but he definitely fucking hit him, a couple times. And it's like, yeah, teenagers will do that. Teenagers will hit kids, especially if the kids are being shitheads, or there's some kind of opposition there. So in this kind of event, I'm thinking, even though it's supposed to be a friendly event or whatever, of course teenagers are gonna be greedy, and teenagers are gonna be like, move, little kid. I don't give a fuck. I'm apathetic. I'm an apathetic teen, and my brain capacity only goes to only goes as far as like 6 feet in front of me. So, of course, I'm not going to be empathetic towards like the toddler or whatever. I'm getting this egg, and if I need to shove a kid like a little baby on his ass, like I will.
Dude, it's weird. Like, I wasn't there for that story, but it's like you just unlocked a bunch of memories. Like, Alex has unlocked trauma. But like,
yeah,
Which one was it? Was it the egg brawl story, or was it his story? On
his story about the Boys and Girls Club? Because
I brought a bully back from the past for him there.
No.
Yeah, well, not just that. I mean, I don't even think we were friends at that point. It's like
we were definitely friends at that point. That's the only reason that you were around.
Well, no, I went to the Boys and Girls Club before I was friends with you.
Oh, you're not talking about the Tanner thing. You're talking about the Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah, I don't think I was there the day that Tanner got hit. But
I think you have gone to the Boys and Girls Club when I've been there a few times, not for this dance. This was like a late at night dance thing. You weren't you typically there at night, because of course, as one of our listeners, Nana, did not. She ran a pretty tight ship with you. You weren't able to do late night stuff, from what I remember, and it was a long time before I was able to hang out at Alex's place, or Alex was able to hang out, I think, outside his place, because I think it only happened a few times where he came over to my house in middle school, but we didn't get to hang out like a ton in a more public setting until we were in high school, and that's when the world really unlocked for him. And by then I was already a bum, basically, because our buddy JoJo and Andrew, I made a bunch of bummy friends who did all sorts of different stuff, and yeah. So yeah, you definitely weren't there at the at those dances.
No, I wasn't.
But yeah, the older kids, older girls too, that really that helped me continue to shape.
Gender's just a construct. Everybody's an asshole.
No, I was talking about the whole element of like gross kids at a dance.
Gross kids?
Gross. Well, I mean, kids being gross at a dance, grinding on each other, dry humping.
Oh, okay.
I remember my first dance.
Yes.
Yeah, 7th grade was weird when I went to that dance. I was just like, I don't get it.
Yeah. So for a lot of things,
and that's not to say like I didn't know sex. Like I had the internet.
Yeah.
It was porn. But at the same time, I was just sitting there looking at people on the dance floor and stuff like that, and I was just kind of like,
Yeah, let me just say, without being too open about it, I had the curse of knowledge at that point. But there's also, not even without that, I was taught or very early on going to like these dances in 7th grade, 8th grade, and I stopped going by the time we got to high school, which I'm sure gets even worse. But like we were taught by girls that dancing is just they rub their ass on our junk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that covers it pretty well.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. Like, that's kind of like what was, like, if I were able to go back into my mind at 7th grade, like, that's kind of what it was. Like, it was just like, I guess grinding.
And,
Because
dude,
that's what you do as
the
a couple,
adults,
is you grind.
yeah, the adults chaperoning and watching. They're like, "Hey, stop doing that!" And
Yeah,
then like you
I'm
stop
just
for a little
confused,
bit.
Like, but this
More-
is dancing?
More specifically, no freaking.
Yeah, it was called freaking. Yeah, thanks for
It's called freaking. And then like even like slow dancing. Like,
people like stop for a little bit. They like look away. They just start doing it again.
Yeah.
And the funny thing too is like girls, at that event would be there'd be a whole pressure of like, oh, dance with him, or like dance with him, dance with him. And it's like a bunch of awkward dudes not knowing what to do in this setting. So it's like girls awkwardly dancing on guys like Alex here, like me, even because like we're first of all we're middle schoolers. We've never been to a club setting or like that.
Yep.
You know.
Hold on, though. Like, I had an advantage for my first dance. I was lucky enough to have Chuck hook me up with 2 girls. And that changed my life.
Hey, yo.
For the first time in my life, I was like, holy crap, this is cool.
Yeah, see, okay, maybe I was a bit of the coercion of like, yes, with this guy, but I remember that because like people were like that all the time for all sorts of like the awkward, they were awkward kids never having their experience and of like I guess any I don't I can't say yeah well it's like a sexual
It was there.
yeah, it's not it's not sex, but it is sexual in the way like because that could lead to kissing girls, that could lead to like dating, all sorts of stuff like that. And there's a level of like people needing to break the ice, and it's so funny because like in most ways, like the girls were never the shy ones. They're always like, are we fucking doing this or not? And the guy's like, dude, I don't know.
Well, and it was a hookup from Chad, but at the same time, it was also like I needed that shit because if I didn't have someone like Chad who was more social and could do those things, it never would have fucking happened. I would have just stood there and been the quiet kid at the dance. Well, not the quiet kid, but the awkward kid.
Also, yeah, I also like remember I regressed from like middle school like into high school, and then even from high school into being a young adult. Once I was like 18, 19, 20, like I like stopped being as outgoing as I aged. And it's really funny because like I think about 7th grade me did not give a fuck. When I think about like trying to tell people about like actual dating advice, it's like it sucks. Like it sucks because like I don't even follow my own advice. Where it's like you need to not care about rejection, like me in 7th grade and 8th grade, and just like shoot your shot, and then also take no for an answer if that's what you get.
Yep.
And it's so funny though because like when I was like uh 19, I think I was like really afraid of rejection. I know, and I remember thinking, by the time I was like 23, totally different guy. I'm like, oh, I don't want to date anyone or whatever. But I remember thinking to myself, it's so weird. What happened to me? Why was I afraid of rejection a few years ago? And like, before I started dating again, and ended up dating Jacinda, who I'm dating now. It's funny thinking about it, like how I'd be at the gym thinking about it. Like, I still don't have as much as the kids call it today, Riz, as I did in middle school. Like my brain, like I was too dumb to fail. Like, and anyways, rounding back into the weird age thing there. Same thing with like too dumb to fail. I was too dumb to give a fuck about an older kid to where uh I could like get in people's face, even like older people like that guy, and like they didn't do shit to me. And it's like Tanner could run his mouth. That guy got beat up. Like no, like I got away with so much stuff just by pure diesel, like just like luck.
That or Chuck at that point was such fucking man energy. It was insane. Like I didn't really have a whole lot of friends before Chad. I had Jeff, who was like my oldest friend at that point, but he had moved. But up to that, I mean, right then, it was like, oh my god, this kid will do anything. Like, he's just not afraid. And to me, that was fascinating because I've always been that a person that's afraid of everything. So I got to live a little vicariously through him, and then I got to be the cautious one that maybe was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that.
You'll just edit these in post.
God damn it!
Chuck. Yeah.
I can't wait to hear this episode where you're just gonna have that little clip right there, be like, Chuck, dude, Chuck.
The best part is I was just saying I've gotten really good at calling you Chuck.
Yeah, he was doing he was doing so good. He was calling me outside of the pod.
Also, don't you mean Chud?
Chud.
Chud's when I, have the takes like, about Midwest women and stuff. No,
When you have them Chud takes.
You mean Southern women? Southern
women, yeah. or when I'm like, my cousin's hot,
That's an entirely separate person. That's Chud.
Yeah, that's definitely a Chud take right there. Yeah, God, that Easter story is insane. We don't have a lot going on for the Easter thing, especially because I already busted my huevos on the whole bit about Jesus Christ in the Roman state.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't want to talk about the pagan stuff of it because a lot of that. Oh God, a lot of pagans are gonna hate me for this. A lot of our friends that are like witchy and stuff. A lot of that is rooted in misinformation.
Hey, for all our friends that are mad at Chuck, I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, no, I got nothing. No, I got nothing against pagans and stuff like that. But like, the problem is that a lot of people who will be like, I'm practicing like this ancient lost rite, whatever. It's like, no, this guy in the '60s pretty much wrote this stuff, or
Chuck hates pagans,
or you're ripping off, Taoists and Buddhists and stuff, and rebranding it as something that's lost in whatever that you think these people in Ireland did before the mythical Saint Patrick, who is
I do wonder how much of like
well, it would be Celt for most, as in like the Morrigan and Cernunnos and stuff. They share gods with like other Germanic tribes and the Gauls and stuff like that. And I think there are the weird stuff too is that like there's nuance because these people that people claim to be taking these practices from are people that obviously like culturally mixed with so many people. Like, I believe the movie Braveheart, did you guys see that?
A long time
about
ago.
like
I think it's been like 3 years since I've seen
what's
it,
his
but I've
name?
seen
William Wallace?
Yep.
Isn't he like Celt pilled a little bit? Like he's got the
You mean
very
the character?
yeah, because like he like I see a lot of people do the whole Celt painting, and it looks a lot like William Wallace's like war paint, where it's like one half's blue, the other half's like plain or white.
I suppose I don't really remember.
As a very avid Mel Gibson fan, once again, I'm sorry to my Jewish friends. I do like Mel Gibson, even though I don't agree with his horrible takes on
I don't
on
know.
the Jews. This is the third episode in a row. I gotta have something with the Jews, but I haven't watched Braveheart, so I'll be watching Braveheart.
The Jews and the pagans. That's a lot of hate, Chuck.
Yeah. Well, no, I can't. So it's funny that that Alex is trying to do the anti-feminist thing with pagans, but it's not. But it's.
You're not supposed to call me out.
Yeah. Oh, I was about to go really hard. I was about to say, but it's your ancestors that really did something about those pagans. At least the Spaniards. I mean, the Mexican part, whatever percentage you said that was, they were also pagan, and depending on where they were from, that's a really gosh, this is a very crazy topic to go into. Like,
is paganism just basically the belief in many gods? So that would mean like there's pagans in like Latin America,
Greek mythology, Roman mythology, Native American practices. Yes. Well, it's the same way in Rome. they called barbarians like anyone that wasn't them, pretty much. Just
True.
heathens or anyone that were basically people that weren't Christian,
Yeah.
and pagans are specifically a thing. Heathens, though, yeah, anyone that's like not Christian basically is a heathen, and it's another word for basically being the uncivilized barbarian.
I
And
think you mean heretic.
no, heretic is like what people would call me when I have a take about Christianity. That like like when I'm like, oh, I don't give a fuck about most of what the Bible
You
says.
mean when let's say you tell people let bygones be bygones?
Well, I'm like, I'm supposed to follow Christ, and Christ said, heal the sick, and I don't like rich people and stuff like that. I was like, that's the part I really vibe with in the Bible. But they're like trying to get me to care about whether or not Noah got two animals in an ark. I'm like, that doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, no, that doesn't for me either. Like, I like that part where he flips tables at like a tax collector's place. Like, that's fucking righteous.
Yeah.
I'd like to have beer with Jesus someday.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's definitely the vibe he carried too. Is like, he hung out with non-believers, and obviously he had disciples and stuff. But yeah, he spent his time with sinners and stuff, and like vibing with people that were different than his views and stuff like that, and eventually turning people over. It's like the same story as that black guy who hung out with people in the KKK and got them to leave the KKK.
That dude is fucking cool, man. Daryl Davis, I think is his name, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this guy has like, I want to say a couple hundred different like clan robes, and a lot of them aren't just like your basic member. They're like he has like Grand Dragon robes and shit.
He got I know he got one leader to like actually close down like the chapter in his area, so that's how he got so many robes. Is a bunch of people ended up quitting because the leader quit, and that guy started getting the same kind of hate mail that they used to send people when they were racist KKK guys. So yeah, that's same vibe though, mixing with people that you don't agree with, and ultimately coming out a better like a bit in a better situation, even if they're not completely you know sanctified. And that's also a thing that I don't know if I've mentioned this with the whole St. Patrick's thing, but that's the story of St. Patrick too, where people claim like he killed the pagans because the whole legend of that he drove snakes out of Ireland, which I think is just a myth on why Ireland doesn't have snakes. But he his whole story is that like he slowly converted in a very like not monotheistic uh in a monk like fashion where he lived on a whole other island next to Ireland, because if he lived on the island with the Irish, they would have killed him, because he used to be a Roman soldier and they like kicked his ass and like captured him. So like he had like this trauma of like from them, and he was like, I really need to go back, and like you know he loved Ireland, I guess, and he wanted to like converse with his people, so he would like go there and trade stories and stuff like that. And um it's like the same way you guys are familiar with Beowulf, right? The story.
Yeah.
So you guys are familiar with how Beowulf has like Christianity stuff weaved into it, but it's obviously like Germanic mythology tales. It's like that's what they did, and that's how weird fucking practices by European people today were probably the real pagan practices of yesterday. But all these people who are trying to reclaim uh, their lost heritage. The second English people, or Saxons became English, and then English became white. People are, and same thing with all these people in Minnesota, the Finns, the Swedes, whatever. They used to be Scandinavians and Vikings, and all these people are trying to reclaim their lost heritage. They're looking for something that's not there, but it's probably a lot more open in their face than they think. And of course, they want to reject the Christianity aspect of it. But it's like, sorry, dude, your culture did convert. Like, I'm Hawaiian. My culture converted to Christianity. There is a lot more, like, oral tradition, and a lot more stuff that was, like, documented and passed down, because they were trying to uh, erase things like the Hawaiian language and a lot of stuff about the mythology. But there's still a lot of mythology that exists, but what doesn't exist is like their actual practices of their paganism. What instead exists is what their culture is and like what their culture was and is today, which is probably very close to what it was when they did practice. It's probably very close to what their pagan practices were. So it makes me think, everyone except for the most insane uh, pagan practices you could think of, like Aztecs or people that did human sacrifice. You're probably seeing pagan practices every day in the most mundane situations.
Well, birthdays. I mean, it's not necessarily a Christian. It's not a it's not a religious practice of any sort. It's more like I think almost anybody has a birthday.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And it probably is rooted in something that
that was like so.
a pagan ritual or
Yeah,
something.
everybody got together, had a meal for that person's birthday because it was like, yeah, hey, this person came into this world this day.
Yeah.
Let's all get together and celebrate that.
And yeah, what a lot of these people don't realize too is like, yeah, a lot of these celebrations that people celebrate, especially if it has a lot to do with like food, um, you know, some silly little symbolism thing. Like I know there's so many things that I can't think of right now that like came to America from European countries. Like, gosh, I was
White
playing.
people.
Yes, Alex said white people. If you guys didn't hear that. Uh, so there's this thing in Fallout 76, like where they do this celebration with like masks or something like that, and it's based on a real thing in West Virginia, where it's like this a whole story of like Father Winter and all that. It's like you best believe that stuff was rooted in paganism, and through Christianity, through the centuries long conversion to Christianity, went from being an actual like we 100% believe in this thing to like, oh, it's the symbolism, it's a character, because they started doing that with their gods, where like even Celtic gods like Cernunnos became like a character in Christian folk tales. And yeah, I mean, even today, now people go back to it and it's like it's the devil, because that's a whole other can of worms too. Is that there's people called fundamentalists who are like, no, actually, everything the Bible says is literal. I take everything literally. It's what intelligent people do, right?
Absolutely.
My
100%.
mama said. My mama said.
Yeah. Anyways, you guys got anything to bring to the table here for this episode, or?
Oh, you mean you're not gonna carry this whole thing?
Yeah, I could probably keep yapping, but
Well,
History lessons with
history with Chud.
yeah, I've been thinking, and I'll bring it up on the pod openly. I'm sure we have mentioned it maybe on some unreleased episodes, but I do want to eventually get into the one of those bigger episodes where we have a focus topic for the whole episode.
Yeah.
Of like talking about the paranormal, which I think is why we haven't been talking about the paranormal.
Yeah, I think we all want to be together for that.
Yeah, so that is something we'll be that's something that when I was thinking while talking, like, oh, what can we get into? And it's like there's cryptids and stuff like that. It's like I think that's a more focused episode, and then just like one of these. But we'll let you guys know, the listeners. Will be the folklore talk that I was just having with you guys. We could have a lot more of in the future.
Well, I mean, we've has had some little scary moments actually in this trailer with Wendigos. We could just talk about Wendigos.
The Wendigo is my favorite cryptid, even though it is a Native American mythology figure that, I mean, mostly like the Midwest and Canada. But yeah, the really what it boils down to is this trailer where Doug lives, by the way, not me, Chuck.
Chuck.
But
Oh, see, I thought you said Chud as a joke.
Oh wait, no, did I say Chud?
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said damn it.
So yeah, Doug could definitely back this up. There's a lot of deer tracks that go through the snow during the winter.
Mm-hmm.
And as some people will know, the the more mythical representation of the Wendigo, not the literal being a human, but the mythical being like a like a deer skull kind of figure,
Humanoid type thing.
Yeah, which I just take as the Proctor Valley monster more than anything.
Pretty much.
I always joked when there was these big deer tracks going around by the trailer. I would tell my girlfriend like the Wendigo's out there. Which also one time I went to the bar alone and because I was just trying to hang out at the bar. That's something I do every now and then. You got something to say, or are you thinking?
I'm trying to remember if we talked about our Proctor Valley Monster experience on this podcast. I mean, I think we did, but I think that might have been for the test episodes.
Maybe. That's one. Yeah, we'll definitely get into that.
Yeah.
But so anyways, back to the thing. So also, I like going to the bar alone sometimes. One time I was about to leave and someone started talking to me, and I had to like end the conversation. I was like, "Wendigo's out tonight," and then I just left. And
that's actually a very good way to get out of the
so
conversation. I'm gonna use that from now on.
And so I was I kept saying that though because I thought it was so funny, and that's where the joke really came from. But there's some deer tracks that always leads to the bathroom, and then there's long branches that scratch the window, maybe, or it's the Wendigo scratching the window, and that's what I always told my girlfriend is like Wendigo's at the window at night.
So can confirm that was a branch that was hitting the window. I cut that out.
Oh yeah, I went. I went outside.
Even cut other branches that were knocking. That knock. You hear the knocking on the vent area?
Yeah.
That creeped me out for a long while. and I'm not gonna lie, like my brain just kept going and going, like, man, what if? What if? And I'm just even me going outside, looking at it, watching the wind hit the goddamn thing, I still like on occasion go, what if?
Yeah, there was a period where I used to walk around late at night living out here, and the more and more I got in my head thinking about the Wendigos, the more I was like, no, actually, I'm gonna not be out here late at night anymore.
Dude, actually, so my interest in the Wendigo was kind of re-sparked when Chuck, our buddy Aaron, who's another hooligan, and we were all well, I think Jay was there for that, but we were playing a game called Until Dawn. If you haven't played that game, it's really fun, it's really scary, and it might fuck you up a little bit. But we were all playing it together because me personally, I was afraid to play it alone. So we had been playing it so much that one night I was walking home from work, and I swear to God, I heard a sound. It must have been a dog, but I heard a sound that was so close to the sound that the Wendigos make in that game. I just started fucking running, and then of course I see the train coming across the fucking tracks right where I need to cross. And if you've been in this town, there's no real way to get around it. So I'm stuck behind this train with fucking anxiety like it's gonna come get me.
Well, there's a way around it, but if you're on foot, no.
Yeah.
Because you got to go all the way to the cemetery, which if there's Wendigos in town, it's going to attack you at the cemetery.
I think there's a design flaw in this town.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Well, this town's very, as Hasanabi says, car-cucked. I heard that term, and I was like, fuck, that's me, all right. Yeah. He says America's so car-cucked, and he said Australia was too.
Oh, that's a perfect description.
Because, if you live in the Midwest or the South, I mean, transit is virtually non-existent. Even though James did say he wanted to bring up a train story a couple episodes ago about the Amtrak opening up a new thing, but like
we got it in for 13.
Yeah. Because we literally have. Well, you also mentioned train blocking you.
Yeah. 13.
But
just to make sure it's 3 trains.
Yeah.
Trains.
Yeah. We have no we have no way to get there without a car though to the the Amtrak area. Even though we have like train tracks that like lead out of town and stuff like that. So weird. But
could you if they opened this place up as like a passenger
Totally.
this town keeps going. Like, how are we gonna bring money into town? At least that's what I hear in like all the freaking stupid chats, like online. Like it's the Facebook chats, it's the actual citizens of it. Some of them maybe not, but at the same time, I sit here and I read them. That's the number one thing is how are we gonna get more people and more, products into this town? And it's like open up a stop.
That's right. You get that choo choo going.
Get that choo choo through this train, man. Just do it.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I never thought that would be a complaint because this town single-handedly wants to stunt growth as much as possible. Although there are two, if not three, major companies that are absolutely just making this town grow. Whether the town governance wants it to happen or not. And according to James, he said this in a previous episode that this is like an economic powerhouse for like this region in general, like one of the biggest towns in our whole region. That's like Minnesota and not, North Dakota. So, it's funny that there's people going, how are we gonna bring more money here in town and stuff like that? When it's like, well, the answer, first of all, is like, build more buildings that are actually gonna be businesses and not just apartments.
Right.
Build more houses or whatever. There's still plenty of open space like that where the Scooters Coffee is in town. Used to be an empty lot.
Well, I think there's actually something going in there. I saw some construction equipment over there recently.
What, did Scooters close?
No, not where Scooters is, but there's like a lot like right across the way, and I saw some construction equipment over there. Now, rumors is it's going to be a pizza ranch.
If it's a pizza ranch, I'm stoked.
Same. No, same. I'm sitting here just like, yes!
Yeah, though I think all three, you, me, and Jay went to Pizza Ranch together.
The last thing this town needs is another fucking pizza place. Because it's like burgers, pizza, and burgers.
I know,
Sorry, what pizza place? Freaking, the Big Two?
Pizza Hut, yeah. I need
Domino's
a little
Pizza
more
Hut in
variety.
every bar?
Yeah.
No, so it's funny that you're complaining about this. Alex, you realize we live in Minnesota where every place, every restaurant is essentially bar food.
I just want a little variety in my diet.
Burgers.
I just want a taco place that's good.
Jay was complaining.
Like Taco Bell knockoff.
Yeah, Jay was complaining about, like, oh, I don't want to have what are we just going to only have barbecue? It's like, okay, well, what, do you want to go to the burger place? Because, like, and she eventually said she wants to go to the Mexican place, which I'm like, yeah, the Mexican place is cool.
Yeah,
but
the local restaurant.
Let me tell you, the Pizza Ranch would bring in variety because it's not just pizza.
Well, and then my thing too is that it would also answer half of the other complaints I keep seeing in all these
buffet style stuff, food place that isn't South China, which I can't go to anymore because the gluten in there. Jay can't eat gluten.
Oh, damn!
So I haven't gotten to South China in so long.
I didn't even know they were still open.
Yeah, they are. They were.
Yeah, they're still open and everything. They're just, I think from what I hear, the owner's out of town right now. So,
is it still only takeout?
I think it is still only takeout. I have yet to see any.
At what point was it only takeout?
It's been only takeout since COVID.
Yeah, and I think it's still that way.
I've sat in there. I think in 2021.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Yeah, it's 2024.
Yeah, well, that was during COVID. COVID hit in 2020, so that's why I'm like, huh.
We'll have to give it a try. But no, even when I moved up here, like, and even more recently, I was like, I want to say, like, December, I went in there and, they didn't have the dining area open, it looked like. Yeah. So.
It doesn't need to be a lot of variety. I just need something that isn't just burgers or pizza.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing that you're complaining about, too, is, like, you're complaining basically about what you're eating in the region. This is like, coming from California, it's like if people would complain, it's like someone being like, oh, I want more than just Mexican food and the fast food places, because it's all you have in most towns in California.
And the thing is that I also hear apparently we're a big tourist place for Canadians.
Well, Canadians come here to shop. They typically go to Walmart.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Okay.
But yeah, no, it's like Alex. Yeah, I'm really gonna grill him on this variety thing. It's like, what do you expect people to bring in some seafood here?
No, fuck no. I don't want seafood
Yeah,
from Minnesota.
you're like, I want
It would
some
be nice to
variety.
have
It's like,
a-
what variety are you expecting?
I will
Like
say,
some pho, or even like a ramen place, or
pho ramen.
So
would be
you don't
bomb
trust
up
you
here.
don't trust Minnesota to do fish, but you trust them to do pho or ramen.
Here's the thing. There's actually a really good pho place in Grand Forks. I enjoy it.
That's North
It's really
Dakota.
good. Still, it's only an hour away.
That's a different state.
Shut your mouth.
And North Dakota, I think. Well, Grand Forks has a more diverse population,
Well,
and
And by the way, Grand Forks is split in half.
Yep, I
One
was
half
gonna
is
say that.
Minnesota, and the other half. Is
no,
North Dakota.
Grand Forks is North Dakota. East Grand Forks is Minnesota. Let me guess. The pho place is in Grand Forks, not East Grand Forks, right?
Come on.
I actually don't know.
Okay, I mean, I'm with him on that one because I mean, unless you actually are looking at your navigator and go like, oh yeah, we crossed the bridge into North Dakota.
Did
like,
you-
it's
yeah.
just like whatever.
You're slam dunking over 5 minutes. It's a 5 minute.
No, no, because
Oh, that's a big deal.
in East Grand Forks you have Caribou, you have Pirates Cay, you have all the stuff that's still the same. And the second you go to North Dakota, you have like the Asian ice cream place. You had Who Hot. You had way more variety. And the reason why there's more variety there is because they have a college there, like a big university there, which we don't have in Minnesota. Like we're a little closer to where we live. That's why they have a more diverse population in actual Grand Forks. And in East Grand Forks, people complain about the Somali people that live there. The racist people complain about the Somali people that live there.
Same is basically the same town, man.
I
don't know what you want
No,
from me.
it's two completely different places, actually.
Now,
If you lived there, would you really give a shit? To be
Now
like,
we gotta-
"Oh, this is a different town."
now I gotta give this a try.
Well,
Now I gotta try to
actually-
go down there next time. I just gotta try going like to different areas. 'Cause
I guess we'll have to make a comprehensive list on where East Grand Forks and Grand Forks businesses
It-
divide.
They literally divide quite easily by the bridge, dude. Like, do you know
The
what this
river
place?
is actually
Do you-
really good.
But just because I know there's a pho place in Grand Forks, like I said, doesn't mean that I know which side of the bridge that it's on.
Well, yeah. What's the pho place called?
I think it's King Pho.
King Pho. Because here's the thing: Google will even say Grand Forks or East Grand Forks, depending where it's at. Yeah, it's in Grand Forks.
Yes, it's Grand Forks. Restaurants.
So,
East
yeah.
Grand Forks.
So
So you said it's in East Grand Forks?
no, it's not.
Oh,
that's in
okay.
Grand
Look,
Forks. It says
Grand
it's
Forks.
He
East
said
Grand-
East Grand Forks, so I was.
No,
I'm just
he
looking
was
at-
looking at the map and seeing that there's two different towns separated by the river and the bridge. As I said, which is Grand Forks, the more diverse population because the University of North Dakota, and East Grand Forks, which is in Minnesota, which has the most diverse thing there, which was Pirates Cay and the Cabela's, which is not very diverse whatsoever.
My point being, if I live in Grand Forks, I'm not gonna be like I'm going to East Grand Forks, like it's some big deal. I'm gonna be like I'm going to get pho.
Well, you would get pho, which is in Grand Forks, not East Grand Forks. You would pretty much not go to East Grand Forks for any reason.
Well, so I'm looking at restaurants.
I want to. Oh,
I put down
Oh my God.
specifically restaurants East Grand Forks. Like
I could already tell you because it's such a small town. Like if you look,
there's literally like 5 restaurants in a Domino's.
Yeah.
okay, but
It's
in
the ri-
5 minutes,
it's
can I
the
go-
river.
In 5 minutes, can I go and get it? Because if
This is okay,
this house-
Alex. Your argument is like saying Mira Mesa is the same as Miramar, which it's not. And you can get to those places within a 5-minute difference.
I think it's time to move on.
Like, are you gonna tell me Lemon Grove and Spring Valley are the same
I
too?
don't think you're understanding what I'm saying here. There is variety within 5 minutes of each other, right? That is what I'm talking about. In
Yeah.
this town, we don't have that.
Right,
So
but
having
no,
a little
but
variety in
the
this
point I
town-
was driving home was that the variety was in a different state, which the reason we have that variety in that state is because there's a college, which brings in
I don't
different
give a shit.
ethnicities.
Can I get pho within 5 minutes?
Well,
you
could
can get a
bring
good
if
grilled
Northland brings in people that make pho, then probably. But the fact
I
is,
said was all I want is a little bit of variety.
right?
That's it.
I'm
I don't know why this is becoming this big thing. All I said was a little bit of variety.
well, the big thing was I was pointing out the reason why there's variety over there and not over here, which is because there is an ethnic variety over there. Brought on by people being interested in bringing their business and settling over there. Over here, the same reason why the same three people are opening up businesses, which are the same three businesses or whatever. No one really wants to settle here unless it's to work at the big three companies. So the chances of those people, who are mostly like Hispanic people working for a contracting company or anything, aren't going to want to branch out and open a business that is going to bring more variety here because they're already working at the big three companies that promise health benefits, stable pay and all that. So that is what I'm explaining, because I wasn't, I understood that you were saying you wanted variety. I'm telling you why we don't have variety and why, you have to go to another state for it, because that state has more to offer.
Chud and his economic takes.
No, the Chud take would be me saying that we shouldn't have variety.
True.
or trying to say that these are the same areas when they're not. Like, but anyways,
We just want more food.
yeah. And, well, the thing is, is like at no point did I say I don't want more food. It's just that I understand until we do something that's going to bring in, people that are going to cook Thai, like Thai food or, you know, ramen or Korean barbecue or any of that. Like, look at the way that people treat China King and South China Buffet. People treat those people like shit. People are really like passive aggressively racist to these people.
Oh yeah, no.
And during COVID they were really bad about all the rules. Which, I mean, even you guys were like, it'd be nice to dine in there. Like, I would just be happy to get their food, to be honest. It's not like they stop you from getting it yourself, right?
Yeah, no.
So
like, it's still buffet style, and it's like, but
they just charge you up the ass for it.
It's weight. It's weighted versus actually going in and doing a buffet, and like I guess they would charge you more, I guess, based upon whether you get a drink or not. Like,
yeah, I
want a buffet, but like, no, I totally get.
And that's why I'm not complaining about a Pizza Ranch, because that will bring, there's chicken, there's fries, there's other stuff that's also much better quality.
It's still the same shit.
Well, it's much better quality than the stuff we have in town, which everywhere in town, the quality is mid to lower quality, except for that barbecue place, which again, it's like,
yeah, I actually went there recently. It was actually pretty doggone good.
Yeah, having good barbecue is like, having I don't know, it's how do you mess it up? You have to be Dallas Fort Worth to mess up barbecue. So
what happened in Dallas Fort
Worth? They gave me runny sauce that tasted like ketchup.
Oh.
And I was supposed to think that, like, Texas should have the barbecue, they should kill it. Like, the Texas Roadhouse in Grand Forks has some of the best ribs I've ever had, from like a restaurant. And, I thought Dallas Fort Worth's really going to have it. We go to this place that's like a big, popular place. And I think I've mentioned this up in a prior episode.
I think so too, because it does sound familiar, because I think we were talking about it at one point. I think even James was here talking about barbecue. Period.
Yeah, first of all, the ribs they gave me were beef ribs. It was beef ribs, not pork. There was no pork option. And it's like, those are the bad ribs. And of course you have Aaron. Oh, no, I actually like the beef. Shut the fuck up, Aaron. He was trying to cope on everything. Like, try to tell me that that he likes runny ketchup sauce. Like, he was like, "Oh, I actually think it's great barbecue sauce." It's like, it tastes just like ketchup. You know, like, I get having some more liquid sauce because, like, even the place here in town now, they have runnier sauce. You know, it's not like super thick, but it was still, it was basically ketchup water is what I'm saying at that other place.
Oh, actually, cool thing about the barbecue place in town too, they serve THC drinks.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Uh, can't you get those at the gas station now too?
Well, yeah, but like when uh
Wait, can you really?
the local tobacco shop actually stopped selling like the pens and stuff like that. But I guess there's something about like deltas specifically.
Oh.
So I guess until they actually come out with the regulation for like retail cannabis and stuff like that in 2025, then they can bring the deltas back and stuff like that.
Okay, so they stopped. Okay, so there's no more Delta 8, Delta 9.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
But they do have mushroom pens now.
Yeah, I don't. It is illegal for, like, all right. Are these like real magic mushroom pens or like what?
Nah,
Like,
I mean,
because I tried looking this up and there's no information on it. All it says is it's magic mushrooms are illegal in Minnesota, but they're looking at legalizing it. But I've also heard that they might be DMT pens and not actually mushrooms. I don't know. There's like no information that I can really find on this, and I spent a while on it and watched Chuck's gonna find it real fucking quick. But
Well, no. What I'm trying to see is if there's any, because the same way they found little corners, little whatever you call it. There's a much better word than corner. Loopholes for like edibles with like the Delta 8, Delta 9 crap.
well, yeah, and I think places are still doing the edibles, but I don't do edibles.
and hold on, for mushrooms to work, don't they have to go through your gut first?
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of confused myself. But
Yeah, like
I just call it a wacky pen. Call it a day.
I was trying to find something on it because I was like, maybe this is something I'll give a shot. But now I don't know. Like I've heard, like I said, I've heard that they're actually DMT pens, which if so, holy shit.
So, Doug, do you know any brands, perhaps?
There's one called Psych, I think.
Okay, so you have one with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so gosh, what I'm seeing here. So I'm reading Trey House. Trey House is promise. 2 grams of magic mushrooms. Oh, Trey House. You know, it, it's a microdose magic mushroom vape pen. 2 grams of magic mushroom vape juice per pen. So that's the whole pen. Proprietary mushroom blend, perfect for microdosing. All natural ingredients, tastes like a sugar sweet oven baked apple tart. 800 puffs per pen. In morning may cause psychotropic effects. Not intended for use under 21. So as I'm looking through this, let's see. They're kind of just stroking themselves about the company, but not really saying much about what what they are.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like, even on Reddit, there was a bunch of people saying like, no, that doesn't sound right.
so they have nootropics, pre-blend of tryptamines. Now the problem is, I know what a nootropic is. Those are in a lot of like supplements, like the mushroom, oh lion's mane, that kind of thing. But what is a tryptamine? I wonder if that's the way they're getting around this whole thing. Th tryptamine, okay. So we're gonna find out here. So if you're a ride or die THC tribalist, blah blah blah, we've designed these to blah. So the way I'm looking at this, are they really? They're really just This is how you know there might be a little bit of a
Sketch going on.
yeah, because they're talking about the effects, but they're not talking about the ingredients. They're claiming ingredients, but they said tryptamines and uh, the other one, nootropics, and it's like those are types of ingredients. Those aren't the ingredients. So it makes me wonder. Obviously, this is not FDA approved. I'm assuming. Which, if they are, sorry guys for saying you're not, but I doubt it. Oh, ingredients. Wait, no. Of course, it doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
2 grams of highly potent magic mushrooms. So, were you looking at the Treehouse site?
No, I was looking all over. I was trying to find out if, like, wait, magic mushrooms aren't legal in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So that's where I was wondering if you could even have those shipped here. That was the big thing that started with it. It was like, oh, the more I read into this, the more sketchy this looks. Like, you might just be smoking DMT, Doug. Like, just small little bits of it. I have no idea. Because I spent a while on this.
So, here's the answer. No, these products do not contain psilocybin or psilocybin mushrooms, nor do they contain Amanita muscaria mushrooms or Amanita muscaria mushroom extract.
But what does it contain?
So that's how they're getting around it. They don't have the mushroom that is illegal, and it's like I don't think DMT is definitely not illegal or legal.
Right. So I don't know what the fuck they're putting in these pens.
So maybe they found a way to isolate the tryptamine or whatever, and maybe they're using other. I mean, from the sound of it, an amanita I think is a poisonous mushroom.
I think so.
So maybe you're microdosing poison.
How do you feel?
And yeah, that's why I saw their like little guide. They're like, up to 10 puffs. 10 puffs is like, you're in space.
Right. So it's like I'd buy one, but I don't know if I want to now.
Also, Doug, where'd you get that? Like in town?
Yeah.
Or online? Okay.
Which, yeah, I mean, if you could just buy it at a store in town, like, how are they, like, what loophole are they really abusing here? Like, I realize they're not using the mushrooms that they've stated, but what are they using?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're really concerned, I could put those concerns to rest with one. It's a whataboutism, but if you're worried about you know, it seems like you're mostly worried about the ingredient. What are the ingredients? And that I gotta say, not so you don't care about the FDA approved any of that, right?
No, it all wraps around with the legality of it. How are they selling this stuff?
Right. Yeah, because I was about to say, what is in, you know, what is all the stuff that is in that soda you're drinking or the energy drinks we drink, stuff like that.
Right.
Which also the energy drinks aren't FDA approved, and neither is like pre-workout, neither is like protein powder, a bunch of stuff that is good for you, and we've seen benefits of.
Right.
But I thought you had something to say.
Well, the scary part is you're playing with your mind on this one. Like, I whatever, I've fucked up my body. I'm fat, right? I eat things I don't know what I'm really eating, and I drink things I don't really know what's in there. So, yeah, sure. But this is like, if I take this, what is going to be the effect over time that I'm not thinking about currently? Like, I mean, you could say, all right, Alex, you're going to drink all this Dr. Pepper. It's like, all right, well, chances are I'll get diabetes if I keep this up, right? There's a lot of fucking sugar in there. But what the fuck is it doing to my brain?
Well, first of all, of course, with anything, you could mediate these risks, and I say this as an obese man, through this thing called moderation. If you're worried about what these things are doing to your mind, don't ritualistically use it.
Right.
Don't habitually
Don't be
use
a
it.
pagan about it.
Yeah, actually, ritualistically is probably the better word to do.
Well, yeah,
use it at a special point. Like when you're gonna go see Black Panther 2 and you want that shit to hit right when Killmonger's on the screen, like it, like it did for me. That made that part of the movie a lot better. and versus being like, I need this, otherwise I'm an asshole without it or whatever.
Right.
Which I'm not accusing anyone, either of you guys of right now. So don't, don't think I am. But I'm saying.
What the fuck did you just say?
Yeah, what's up, bro? You calling me out? What?
There's two
Start
of us.
something?
You're still gonna beat us up, but we're gonna try.
We're gonna try.
No, I don't know. Like at my current state of like physical fitness, I don't know, but like not so much that I'm necessarily worried about the weight. It's just more so like I haven't lifted in so long that I just don't know how weak I am. I'm like, oh
Man, I'm never gonna underestimate you. You're probably one of the strongest people I've met. I mean, you might hide it well, right? We're both overweight,
yeah.
but you've always been really strong.
Yeah, and I've also, according to don't let me paint this picture unfairly for anyone who's known me my whole life. I've also always been overweight. So
Okay, no. He's had a little bit of a tummy. When we were in school, he had a little bit of a tummy. He wasn't fat. He had a little bit of baby weight. That's all it was.
well, no, because I think like if you look at like like middle school, like seventh grade, probably the best. Like seventh and eighth grade, probably the best I was with like I just had a little belly or whatever. But I definitely think by like high school, I was like a little chubby, had that dad bod. Like when girls say they like dad bod, that's what I had in high school. And then like 19, that's when like the second chin started coming in. What are you looking at? A bug on the wall?
There's a bunch of them. Yeah, you got termites, I think. The fuck are those?
Yeah, we're gonna edit this out of the podcast.
No, the fuck we're not. No, I don't know.
I mean, if Doug wants to, like, I keep seeing something go in and out. It could be. Hey, so I think that's how the wasps were getting in the house. I don't know. Anyways, what I was gonna get back to, so, the whole situation with, you want me to wait, Doug?
No, go ahead. Keep going.
Okay, so the whole situation with like not knowing what's in these things, very valid, and also very valid for like pens in general, vapes in general, anything that is synthetic, your edibles that you're not making yourself, you know, and also I mean, weed you're not buying weed you're not getting from a trusted, verified source. Anybody who buys that stuff, because like some people still buy illegally, and I forgot why. There is a reason, I forget why. I would never, and I'm not just saying that to save face. I like, pretty much the times I was smoking weed, even right before it was legalized, before we moved out of California. I was getting it from friends who knew who they were getting it from.
Right.
Versus like some people are getting shit for some reason like laced and stuff like that. And it's like, dude, do not mess with stuff. Like, don't get stuff that's like pre-ground and stuff like that. And whatever. But if you want to experiment with something like the way Doug is messing with the mushroom pen, right?
Yeah.
It's like, just don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I realize in moderation, but I also have to acknowledge I've never been great with moderation.
Yeah, no, and this is not me telling you. I'm trying to tell the listener.
Right.
Yeah, in your situation, obviously, like, I think the skepticism is the right route for you personally. I think.
Right. Yeah, I'm not like this was all. I was trying to get my research first, and the biggest thing was just checking the legality of it because it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want. You try to buy a mushroom pen. Next thing you know, you're at your old job.
Yeah, no shit.
And you're like, do I really have to show you right now? I don't want to show you.
Well, they would actually move me somewhere else. I couldn't go there.
Oh yeah, you'd have to go. Yeah, totally different town.
Yep.
Crookston or whatever.
Probably.
So yeah, Doug, you doing all right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm just making sure because you're quiet.
Well, I was actually gonna say this past week I actually stopped doing any of the wacky pens. Like this past week, no pen. But one thing that I thought was really weird was like, but here's also the thing: I've always had issues with sleeping. Period.
Yeah.
So since I didn't do the pen, having trouble sleeping and stuff like that. But back on a schedule now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm back to sleeping just fine and whatnot. But and it wasn't after getting the pen back either. It was, about day 3, day 4, and then back to sleep.
Yeah. And sometimes you need a break.
Yeah.
Like, I smoke these pens too, man. I'm not judging.
Oh yeah, no.
Like,
no, are you kidding? I mean, here's the thing. If anybody is ever like, why do people do this or why would people do that and unhealthy blah blah blah? It's like, my dude, look fuck around, man. Like, tell me, how's your job, my dude?
right.
How's your pay?
Mm-hmm.
You doing all right over there, man? Are you eating?
Yeah.
I'm barely eating.
Man.
Like, go like.
I was wondering where you were going with that. I was like, wait,
I was just sorry. You go ahead first, John.
yeah, I was just kind of like, wait, what? Yeah, you're saying just mind your business, right?
Well, I'm just saying, like, people keep saying, like, why are people all down and shit like that? And it's like, I don't know what your life's like. You don't know what my life's like either. Like, I'm barely getting paid. I've barely eaten, like.
Well, chances are we all have our reasons for doing it, right?
Yeah.
Some of us it's fun. Some of it's just fun. I struggle with PTSD. That helps me get through my day. People, maybe you have cancer. That gets you through your day, or that gets you through your treatment, or whatever you're using it for. Even if it's just, I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
I need something to pick me up just a little bit. As long as you're not fucking hurting somebody, who cares?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, I'm hearing this. I'm hearing the Joe Rogan in my head go off, and it's like, but you're hurting yourself. Now, of course, Joe Rogan would never say this about marijuana or mushrooms. Of course, it would be about the Dr. Pepper more than anything. But like every time you want to eat food, but it's like, yeah, some people will try to say you're hurting yourself, you're stunting your brain in certain ways, and it's crazy because there's so many things that are stunting your brain. Like if you look into what causes dementia and what causes Alzheimer's and stuff like that, it's like all over. And the only thing you could really do to like help your brain is like, I think omega 3 fatty acids and like fish oil and stuff like that. As far as like supplements for your brain.
And then that shit got like recalled because apparently there's like fecal matter in that.
Yeah, so that's the whole thing. I thought you were gonna.
It's been like a long time thing too. Like it was caught, but that was like 3 years ago.
Hold on, take that back. What did you just say?
So I don't remember what company it was, but there was a company that put a recall out because they were finding fish fecal matter in high proportions into it, as opposed to the actual ingredients.
Oh,
yeah. So
that's shitty.
Yeah. Yeah, nah. So
I thought you had something to say, so I'm waiting for you. And then I was like, oh no, he just wanted to hear again.
Yeah, nah. It was when I heard about it. I looked at my omega 3s. And I if I remember, the company that I bought from wasn't one of the companies that was on that list of like, hey, these people probably have fecal matter in their shit instead of like actual good shit for you.
You got that doo-doo in your brain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, vegetables. A lot of people go on about health foods and stuff, and it sucks because, like, well, no matter where you fall on the health foods, meats constantly are having shit pumped through them.
Yeah.
And vegetables, same thing. Pesticides are sprayed on them, and things are happening to get recalled too. Like E. coli and shit like that, and fruits. All this stuff. Bugs are getting in them, and all sorts of shit. So it's like, it sucks. To really think about. Well, if you try to tiptoe around like the health of everything, because like everything is adversely putting you at risk, even if you're trying to be as clean as you can.
Right, I get you.
Even people that try to do like the home range whatever stuff, where they have their own pets and stuff like that, or pets, livestock and stuff like that. Like disease still happens. You know, what are you feeding those? What are you feeding those animals? You know, because there's things, even if you're trying to be as natural as possible, and they're just eating it, like cows are just eating grass and stuff. Like, okay,
Well, shit, man, we're all so full. We're all so full of like microplastics already. It's crazy.
and that's virtually like unavoidable.
Right? There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, really. Oh, once I did that, it really. That's why like I really like drinking out of cans, and even then, there's plastic in the fucking cans.
Right.
Right.
So like, yeah, there's really no avoiding the microplastics thing. I think about it every time I would drink a water bottle. I just imagine the tiny little pieces. Especially you can see little specks sometimes of not plastic obviously, but like particles in the water or something. And I just imagine those as little pieces of plastic, and I'm feeling it in my veins right now, as if my veins are trying to pump the plastic around my body.
Plastic is strangling my little. I don't know my cellular structure.
Yeah, I was.
My little my sea turtle cellular structure.
Sea turtle cellular structure. Well, now,
I've summoned them.
You've killed the queen.
so we're gonna be ending this off for the night. We have an invasion to fight off. I'm Chuck.
Oh, what? Oh, we're signing up.
He's Alex.
I didn't know we were there. I'm Alex.
And I'm Doug.
All right, and this has been Hanging with the Hooligans, Missing the Homies edition. Also, check the links in the description for my book, my Twitch stream, James's political thing. I need to figure out what that's called, and more.
And soon to come, our Patreon.
Good night. Get out of here, bugs!